Hi, Mr. Stiles. Thank you so much for coming in today. What can I help you with?
Hi, yeah, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I wanted to touch base with you about a student that I've been having some problems with. Uh, it's the student Louis, you might know him. He has just been causing so many problems in my class, always disrupting my entire class. He's always late every day, it seems. He's rolling into class late. He makes a big scene. He wants to be seen coming into class late. And then once he's there, he just constantly disrupts the class. He's always mouthing off. He's always, talking when other students are talking. He uses terrible language. I'm worried about the language that he's using. And it's just such a disruption. And I know that he's the ringleader, but once he starts going, I know that his pal Zane is always happy to jump on the bandwagon. And between the two of them, it seems like every class period of mine is just getting disrupted.
Okay. So let me just make sure I'm hearing you right. Louis is really becoming a disruption in class for you. He's arriving late, he's unprepared, and he is using foul language with his peers. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. And so I'm really glad that you came to me, and thank you for, describing what's going on and giving me a picture of what's going on. As we prepare to address some of Louis' behaviors, what would you prioritize to start with? Coming late to class, his homework, or the foul language?
Well, they're all related, so how can you separate one?
Right, they may all be related, but actually it'll help us become more effective if we can just focus on one at a time.
Okay, well, let's start on the language then. I mean, if he came to the class late and just was quiet and sat down and minded his own business, I could handle that. But I'm worried about the language that he's using and what that's doing to the rest of the class.
Okay, great. Let's focus on the foul language then. I actually have some time right now if you'd like to discuss this, or we could schedule a meeting at a later time.
Actually, this is my conference period now, so now is good.
Okay, great. So getting back to the foul language, can you describe in more detail how and when it happens? Maybe think of the last time it happened and just tell me all the details.
Well, just this morning it happened. Everything was starting fine. I started the lesson. I was having the students read some of the class material out loud. One of my students is reading it out loud, and Louis just chimes in and starts making fun of him.
And what was your reaction to that in the moment?
I told him we'd gone over this before and that this was enough and he needed to get out of my class.
Okay, so you'd gone over it. What had you gone over, and what did that process look like?
Well, we'd gone over his disruptive behavior. I talked to his parents about it during parent-teacher conferences, that Louis was off task and that he was distracting the rest of the students. And Louis was there at that conference, and he said that he understood and that he would try to be more mindful of his behavior.
Okay. What else was discussed in the parent-teacher conference?
Well, Louis' grades, of course. He's a really poor student.
Okay, got it. So let's go back to this morning. Why do you think that Louis was making fun of that student who was reading aloud?
He just has no self-control.
Okay, a lack of self-control. What are some other hypotheses that you have about the why of his behavior? We're really just brainstorming here, so just toss out anything that you think could be causing this behavior.
Yeah. Well, I have an inclination that he's learning some of this behavior at home.
Okay.
I think that he just doesn't want to do his work. I think he wants to be popular. I think he wants the attention of other students and that he wants to be funny. He wants them to like him. I think he just wants to drive me crazy.
Yeah, I can see how frustrating it is for you. Gosh, you came up with some great hypotheses about what might be causing Louis' behavior. You mentioned that you tried to change Louis' behavior by speaking with him and his parents, and you reminded him of this meeting during class. What else have you tried to get Louis to not use foul language?
Well, I explained to him what respect means, trying to get him to understand what it means to respect his fellow students and understanding how his behavior impacts them. And after that conversation, I had him write a paragraph about what respect meant to try to really get it to stick and to sink in for him. And I moved his seat away from Zane, because when the two of them are together, it always just makes things worse. So I separated them.
Okay, so you had a family meeting, you reminded him of this meeting during class, and you made him write a paragraph on respect, and you changed his seat. And how do you feel like these things worked?
They didn't. It's been getting worse.
Okay. Is there anything you've thought about trying but haven't had the chance to do to change Louis' behavior?
Well, like I said, I honestly suspect that there's something more going on at home, and I've wanted to have the chance to sit down one-on-one with him to talk about that, to see if I can find out what's going on. I've wanted to ask his resource teacher if she has the same issues, but for both of those things, there just hasn't been time. I just, it's October already. I can't believe that we're in October, and I'm just now having the chance to come talk to you about it, let alone talk to him about it, talk to his research teacher. But
Right, I completely understand, and I'm so glad that you're here now. Well, based on what you want to try with Louis, it sounds like you suspect that there's perhaps some emotional issues going on with him. Is that right?
maybe, who knows?
Okay, well, I can help you out with those meetings and with teachers and the one-on-one with Louis. Listening to what you're saying, I suspect that there might be more to the story too. So it's possible that Louis is really struggling with his schoolwork and is using his behavior to distract from that issue. Perhaps he doesn't feel comfortable asking for help. It's also possible that you said that this is a learned behavior and that Louis maybe is the victim of that type of behavior at home, whether it's from parents or an older sibling or cousin. In any of these situations, it would definitely be more effective if Louis' relationship with you could pivot a bit, so that you could both communicate with each other in a less confrontational way. And we might need to teach Louis more about what it looks like to engage in respectful behavior in the classroom. We might also need to make sure that he feels comfortable saying that he doesn't understand the work being done in class and that he has a way to communicate that with you. What do you think about that? Would you be open to that, or do those ideas sound, we need to gather more information, but...
Yeah, I'm willing to try anything. This is exhausting for me too.
Okay, great. Well, I really appreciate your willingness to work with me, and thank you so much for coming in to talk with me about Louis. I'm going to coordinate some meetings so that we can try to gather that information that we need in order to move forward, and then I'll make sure to try to plan them during your conference period so that you can attend. But if not, I'll definitely keep in touch with you about what's going on.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.